How well do you think you sense the world around you? How much do you think your senses tell you about reality? Let's take a look. Biologist E.O. Wilson says we live entirely within a microscopic section of the stimuli that are possible and that flood in on us all the time. But most people are completely unaware that our senses provide only a particular and limited version of reality. In fact, have you ever really thought about how you interact with the world? Pick something up, something that's easy to hold in your hand. I'll use this Rubik's Cube, but you can use anything. Just pick up something small. What are the ways you can experience the thing that you're holding? Obviously, you can see it unless you're visually impaired. I can see its shape and size and each of the colors. But even if your object doesn't have some sound of its own, you can probably get some sound out of an interaction with it. I can hear, I guess you would call it, clicking sounds when I rotate my cube. Maybe your item has a smell, hopefully a good one, but mine doesn't really smell like much. But if it did, I could experience it that way too. And I could lick my Rubik's Cube if I wanted to taste it, but I'm definitely not going to do that. And I don't recommend that you do that with your item either, unless you know it's edible. And the last thing I can do, of course, is I can feel it. I can feel the shape of the overall cube, and each of the little squares, and the smooth texture of the smaller cubes. Those are the ways I can experience this thing, and that's how I get information from things outside of me. Obviously, we all know that these methods of taking in information are part of the human senses. But when I asked if you've ever really thought about how you interact with the world, I'm wondering if you realize that the senses don't let you experience the world in an ultimate reality way. You probably know that dogs can hear and smell things way outside the human range, so that means that there's information around you right now that you don't even know about. Reality for you doesn't include those things, and maybe you know that dogs don't have the same vision that humans have. They're not actually colorblind, but they're much more limited in the colors they see than humans, and their day vision isn't as clear as humans, although they have much better night vision than we do. So for a dog, reality is not the same as it is for us, and there are other animals who have senses that we don't even have, like echolocation, infrared and ultraviolet vision, and electric and magnetic sense. But here's an important point. Even when we're aware that other animals experience a different reality than ours, most people still tend to think that our reality, the human reality, is the real reality, and not even necessarily the best reality because we know about the animals with senses superior to ours that we just talked about. But even taking all that into consideration, we still think that the human reality is the real one, as though because it's the one we experience, it's somehow the norm or the one which all others are compared to. So we'll think in terms of animals experiencing reality in a somehow lesser or superior way to ours, but our reality we take as the truth. It's hard for people to really get the fact that reality itself is different for each species and depends on the sensory apparatus. Think of it this way. If there were no humans or any animals with senses close to our own on Earth, reality as we know it would not exist. All that actually exists is the energy that makes up everything. But in order to perceive it in a particular way, you have to have sensory organs to pick up the information and a brain that processes and provides the perception to your mind. So there is an objective reality, but that's just the energy waves. The reason we evolved to perceive the world the way that we do through our senses is not so that our senses would show us everything that's going on around us, but so that we would perceive only what we need for survival. Our senses don't evolve to show us truth, but to keep us alive. It wouldn't be beneficial to perceive everything because that would be overwhelming. We wouldn't be able to function, and we'd be killed and eaten by some other creature who wasn't being distracted by more information than they could handle. So we would never have evolved, and we wouldn't have survived. But what's the point here, and what does this have to do with Hyperianism? Well, there's a couple things I want you to take from this. First, that your senses don't show you reality. They give you a limited set of perceptions so that you can navigate the world successfully. And second, that what we think of reality is based on the sensory apparatus we have, but that objective reality is just the energy waves. When you finally integrate this knowledge, it will change how you look at existence, reality, and our place in the world. Did you like this video? If you did, use your sense of touch to click that like and subscribe button. Show your support and consider leaving a comment below. You can also join our channel for custom perks and emojis and access to monthly supporters-only live streams. As always, thank you for supporting our work, and thanks for watching.